Good morning and welcome to Peter's Kitchen. Today we're going to make an Austrian coffee and walnut cake, Delia Smith's recipe. I've got the oven on at 170 degrees centigrade and I've got a metal tray here with 80 grams of walnut halves, some of which are broken. That won't matter as long as we've got 10 walnut halves to put on top of the cake at the end. Maybe put a few more in. So they need to toast in the oven for 6 or 7 minutes. So there they are in the oven ready. Now, what do we do next? While the nuts are roasting, we need then to put in 175 grams of self-raising flour. So here we are, 175 grams of self-raising flour. I hadn't the scale switched on, so we've got to start that again. So let's get another bowl. Here we are. So bowl on scales, then switch on the scales and pop it to 0. Now we can put in the sieve on, put it back to 0. Here we are, and pop that flour into the sieve. There we are. And we need 175 grams of self-raising flour and 175. There we are. Sieve that on quite a good height to allow air into the flour. There we are. I'm going to transfer that to the larger bowl. There we are. So an extra bit of washing up there. Excuse me. And then we put in 1.5 level teaspoons of baking powder. Again, it's best to sieve it. Put the scales back to 0. Teaspoon. 1.5 baking powder. That's up there, out of the way. And then we need 175 grams of soft butter or fat. I'm using Flora. 175 grams. Again, pop these scales onto 0. It's important to do. $1.16. 158, a little bit more to make 175, well that's 180, that won't matter. And then 175 grams of golden caster sugar. Again, pop these scales to 0. 175. Take care not to put it in too fast, otherwise you might put too much in. 175 grams. There we are. And 3 large eggs. These are organic eggs from Lidl's. One. Take care not to break any pieces of eggshell into the cake mixture. There are 3 eggs. And 1½ level tablespoons of instant coffee mixed with 2 tablespoons of boiled water. So I've got Americano Intense. So the 1½ levels, 1½ level teaspoons, no, tablespoons, getting it wrong today. There we are. And 2 tablespoons of boiling water. 1, 2. Here we are. Now, let's just make sure I'm doing all this correctly. So, mix the coffee and boiled water together till dissolved. There we are. Now we mix the ingredients together, except the walnuts and the coffee. They're added later. Now for the noise. I usually start off slowly. Oh, something's wrong with the whisk. So a good minute or 2 of mixing. So we've got 175 grams of self-raising flour, 175 grams of soft butter or marge or whatever fat, 175 grams of caster sugar. I don't know why, but Delia often says golden brown or golden caster sugar, 3 large eggs and 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. And that's all mixed together before we add the coffee, which is 1½ tablespoons of instant coffee powder together with 2 tablespoons of boiled water. Once this is mixed sufficiently, put in the coffee and walnuts, chopped walnuts. What makes this a special coffee cake is once the cake is cooked, we douse it with a coffee syrup. So while the sponge is hot, we thick it all over with a skewer and then pour over that the coffee syrup. I'm making this cake for a little gathering tomorrow. And on top of the sponge we put a mascarpone topping, cream on top of the cake. So that looks pretty good. So just get the spatula and push down the mixture from the sides. There we are. Incorporate that. Then I scrape the spatula on the whisk blades. There we are. And then on slow speed, whatever your word is, spin the cream from off the blades. And here's the coffee, nicely dissolved. That's got to be folded into the cake mixture. There we are. And what I tend to do is I wet this spoon. There we are, and then fold it in to the mixture. It's quite a dark coffee colour, very intense. Folding that in. And hopefully the walnuts have now roasted. Yeah, that's good. Now using this little gadget, or whatever you call it, is to chop the walnuts. So just take 10 half walnuts from here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just about 10, and put the rest of the walnuts onto here to be chopped. That can go into the drawer there. So using this, we chop the nuts into small pieces and add those to the cake mixture. And then we transfer the cake mixture into two 10, I think they're 10-inch tins. 20 centimeters, 8-inch tins, 20 centimeters, and I've lined the bottom of the tins to make it easier to release the sponges. Those are nicely chopped now. Here we are. So they're going to go into the cake mixture. Again, we fold those in. Just check that the temperature is 175. Yes, dead on. Or 170. And then we're going to put half and half, divide the mixture into half. So I put the tin on the scales, put it to 0, and then put a few spoonfuls into this tin, like so. See what the weight is. That's 329. Put the other tin on the scales, put it to 0. So you want at least 329 into here as well. So that's, I'm going to put it up to about 350. That's got 370 in now, no, 379. Put the other tin back on the scales and increase the weight to 379 at least. Now we need the spatula here. Let's pop that over there. Using the spatula, I take all the mixture off the spoon, like so. And that's 386. Let's just remind myself. That's 386. And this one is 378. So let's pop a bit more in here. So now this tin has got 407. So pop that over here, change places. So this is 385, so up to 407. So that's another 22. There we are. Use my finger, which I might lick afterwards. So now it's 415, this one. So put this little bit in here. There we are. A little bit more. Super duper. That can be licked out in a moment. Here we go. Pop under the tap. Dry my hand. And then we get another spoon to smooth out the mixture. I wet the spoon, the back of the spoon. It's easier to do. And the tins are lined, as I said, and greased for ease of removal. So, I have to do this in 2 stages, videoing that is, because this particular Apple iPad doesn't have the facility where you can pause the video and begin again at a later time. So, which is a bit of a nuisance. So, here we are, smoothed out, and pop them in the oven. 1, 2. For how long? For 30 minutes on the centre shelf. So that's the Austrian coffee and walnut cake mixture popped into the oven. And I'll see you later. Bye for now.